Good evening, you're now with me, Hanigui for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Sarawak Governor Tun Bain Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar welcomes a courtesy visit from the Sarawak Premier at the Astana Negeri Sarawak this morning. R2 million is allocated to restore and upgrade the old nurses' quarters near Sarawak General Hospital, preserving it as a historical landmark in Kuching. And in world news, US President Donald Trump is set to sign an executive order today to dismantle the Department of Education, fulfilling a key conservative goal. Sarawak Governor Tun Bain Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar received a courtesy visit from Sarawak Premier Dr. Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg at the Astana Negeri Sarawak this morning. In a statement, Astana Negeri said the meeting was held in conjunction with the pre-cabinet session ahead of the Sarawak State Cabinet meeting. Abang Johari presented several key administrative matters for the information and consideration of Tun Wan Junaidi, aligning with the provisions of the Sarawak Constitution. The statement added that the discussion was conducted in a cordial and consensus-driven manner, reflecting a shared commitment to ensuring continued progress and prosperity for the people of Sarawak. Tun Wan Junaidi expressed confidence that under the leadership of the Sarawak Premier, Sarawak will continue to thrive through sustainable and inclusive policies for the well-being and prosperity for its people in the future. A total of R2 million is earmarked to restore and upgrade the old nurses' quarters nearby Sarawak General Hospital, ensuring its preservation as a historical heritage landmark in Kuching. Deputy State Secretary for Economic Planning and Development, Dr. Sri Dr. Muhammad Abdullah Zaidil said this decision follows discussions and agreements made by the Sarawak government to resolve long-standing issues surrounding the site last year. He added that this initiative aims to create a win-win situation between the Sarawak Heritage Society (SHS), which advocates for the preservation of the old nurses' quarters as a historical heritage site, and stakeholders involved in site clearance and the construction of the water retention pond, Sustom Pond.
Heritage for the building, more or less, we have some initial indicative figure of about 2 million to refurbish, to rehabilitate the building initially, but I believe 2 million is not enough, so maybe a bit more. Yeah. And then we hope that Persatuan Heritage Malaysia will help us to look into the maintenance of the building, on the so that the building will remain intact.
At a press conference after inspecting the project site earlier today, he said that aside from being designated as a historical heritage site, the quarters will also serve as a temporary Anjong Kasih lodging center, benefiting families of patients who require accommodation while receiving treatment at Sarawak General Hospital. For the record, the Sarawak Department of Irrigation and Drainage issued a stop work order at the site in August 2024, following an appeal by the SHS to preserve the old quarters as one of Kuching's historical heritage sites. The R10 million water retention pond project, which was delayed due to issues surrounding the heritage site of the old nurses' quarters on Jalan Cruikshank, will proceed as originally planned. Sarawak Department of Irrigation and Drainage Deputy Director Loh Wee stated that a key element to the project is to address flooding issues at Sarawak General Hospital while also providing a flood mitigation solution for the surrounding area.
So a certain portion, like Dr. Sri mentioned, that we had agreed, the old building, the old heritage building will be maintained, and then there will be it's an existing, but not so old building. It was, I think, over the year there is an extension, some new structure. Those buildings will be demolished and will make use of the land And also we're going to acquire the adjacent land so that we can still maintain a proper storage volume for the flood water. And then once we had the approval for SPA, and then we also already got the approval from the federal government on the additional cost for the land acquisition. And then we will issue an amended drawing to our contractor so that we can proceed with the construction work.
For the record, the construction works, initially scheduled for August 2024, were delayed due to concerns raised over the heritage value of the site. However, the issue has now been resolved following discussions between the Sarawak government and the Sarawak Heritage Society. Welcome back. The moon sighting to determine the beginning of Shawwal this year will take place on the evening of Sunday, March 30th, at 29 designated locations nationwide. In a statement today, the Office of the Keeper of the Ruler's Seal announced that the official date for Hari Raya Aidilfitri will be declared on that night via radio and television broadcasts. The Conference of Rulers has agreed that the determination of Hari Raya Aidilfitri follows the sighting and calculation methods. In Peninsular Malaysia, key moon sighting locations include Baitul Hilal Sultan Ismail Building, Pontian, Johor, Balai Cherap Selangor, Sabah Bernam Selangor, and Sheikh Tahir Falak Centre, Pantai Aceh, Penang. In Sarawak, the designated locations are Miri Falak Centre, Esplanade Luwak Miri, Teluk Bandung Kuching, and Bintulu Falak Centre. US President Donald Trump today is expected to sign an executive order aiming to dismantle the Department of Education, fulfilling a long-held goal of American conservatives. The order, which several media outlets reported would be signed during a White House ceremony, comes as efforts are already underway in the department to drastically downsize its staffing and slash funding. Leading civil rights group NAACP blasted the expected order as unconstitutional. The order directs Education Secretary Linda McMahon to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Education Department and return Education Authority to the states. It mandates that any programs or activities receiving remaining Department of Education funds should not advance DEI or gender ideology. Trump and his billionaire advisor Elon Musk have attempted to shut down government programs and institutions such as the U.S. Agency for International Development without congressional approval. However, abolishing the Education Department would be Trump's first bid to shut down a cabinet-level agency. Trump cannot shutter the agency without congressional legislation, which could prove difficult. Trump's Republicans hold a 53-47 majority in the Senate. However, major legislation such as a bill eliminating a cabinet-level agency would need 60 votes and thus the support of 7 Democrats to pass. Senate Democrats have given no sign they would support abolishing the Education Department. Trump has repeatedly called for eliminating the department, calling it a big con job. He proposed shattering it in his first term as president, but Congress did not act. Turkish police detained Istanbul's powerful mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu on Wednesday on corruption and terrorism charges, sparking protests and outrage from the opposition, who condemned it as a politically motivated move just days before his expected nomination as the CHP's 2028 presidential candidate. Widely seen as the strongest challenger to Erdogan, İmamoğlu has been targeted by a growing number of what critics say are spurious legal investigations. According to İmamoğlu on X, hundreds of police joined the pre-dawn raid on his home. Justice Minister Yilmaz Tunç say İmamoğlu was being investigated for the alleged crime of aiding and abetting a terrorist organization, namely the banned Kurdish militant group PKK. A second investigation involving 100 suspects was focused on allegations of bribery, extortion, corruption, aggravated fraud, and illegally obtaining personal data for profit as part of a criminal organization. Street protests erupted despite a heavy police presence on the streets, with hundreds of officers fanning out around City Hall and closing off the central Taksim Square. Hundreds also massed early outside the police station where the mayor was being held. The mayor's wife, Dilek Kaya İmamoğlu, called it a targeted political operation aimed at eliminating Turkey's future president. See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.